What is a milestone you can't wait to see for each of them? Definitely eating. I would love to see all of them, you know, get their feeding tubes out, but mostly for Ezra, obviously just coming off the ventilator. I don't even care so much about him having a trach if, you know, he needs to have that for a little while longer, but coming off the ventilator would be like the best day of our lives. What has been your favorite book to read so far? They love these like peekaboo books, like Peekaboo Rainbow, Peekaboo Sun. It's like these little peekaboo books, and then they like the like touch feel books. Any of those, they really like those, but I'd say the peekaboo, that one gives them some zoomies. If mom and dad aren't available, do the boys have a nurse or grandparents they prefer / go to, or is it hard to tell? So yes, they love their nurses. They will go to their nurses anytime their nurses walk in, especially Ezra because it's his nurses. They swarm. They love them. They love Kaylee is our day nurse, and then Stacy is our night nurse, and then we have another nurse, Paige, and another nurse, Irene. Irene is newer. She just started with Daxon. They love them. They'll like instantly go to them. They don't care to be left with them. Croy is starting to have a little bit of that like separation anxiety from me. He don't care about dad, just me. When I leave, he freaks out. But they'll go to like those people, my best friend Kinsey, my Nana, my mom. They like know them so well, and they like are perfectly fine going to them. What advice would you give to someone facing the same medical situations that you have with yourself being pregnant with triplets and the boys after they were born? What would you tell yourself if you could go back in time? Honestly, just to soak up every moment, even though it's like the most stressful time of your life, because like preparing for triplets you can't, and then having all the medical needs you can't prepare. But I wish that I would have like taken more pictures being pregnant and more pictures of them in the NICU, because we were just so focused on like fight or flight all the time that I feel like I didn't really enjoy some of that time, and I wanted so desperately to not be pregnant anymore. And now I like honestly miss it so much because they were just like safe and in their home, and I always have had a lot of guilt with not being able to carry them further, which I know that if you guys have been here for a while, you know, I'm not gonna cry. It's been hard. I had to really work on that in therapy. But anyways, so that was a big thing. And then, I don't know, I guess just like soaking it up while you can, because even though the first 2 years of their lives have been really difficult, I can't believe they're already 2 and like doing so many new things, and it goes by so fast. And so, wow, I really didn't expect I was going to break down like this, but it just goes by so fast, and you can't get that time back. So I think it's just, you know, important that even when it gets really hard with like all their stuff, one day it won't be like that, and you'll wish that you had like all that time back with them. So just try to enjoy it and take it one day at a time, and soak up your snuggles and, you know, them doing all the new things while you can, because like I said, they won't be little forever. So good grief, that just really came out of nowhere. All right, next question. Let's see. What milestone accomplished by each one of your kids has astonished you the most? Probably Ezra standing on his own has been his biggest thing this far, and his vent weans have like really shocked me. I didn't think he would tolerate those that well. Croy, how much he's eating. I was like, this kid's never gonna eat. We had so many frustrating days where I thought he was never going to eat, never gonna get his gtube out, and he's like eating everything. And then with Daxon, him talking and signing, I like couldn't handle it. Like I could cry again thinking about that. That was like the biggest thing ever for me, was like hearing him start talking and like signing. Are you happy? We're getting there. We're getting there. Do you plan on having any more kids? What are some things the triplets like to do? I would love to have more kids. If you ask Braxton, he would say absolutely not. I don't know that if we didn't stay together and we were with other people, those people would be interested in having any more kids. I did say that if me and Braxton were to get back together and want to have another kid, that we would either adopt maybe, or we would for sure do like genetic testing to make sure that, you know, the genetics that Daxon had or whatever hadn't caused any issues in our pregnancy. So I would definitely do that before having any more. What sort of things help you get through the everyday struggles of having babies and toddlers? Just focusing on myself too. It's been really hard for me to separate that and like not be just a mom, but it is important. So watching my favorite TV show, taking baths, going on walks, reading books, and my newest thing I've been really doing is working out, which has helped me so much. I used to be like a workout fanatic before I got pregnant, and I just didn't have the self-confidence to get back in the gym, but now that I do, it's been really good, and I've had so much fun, honestly, being back in the gym. I still don't have the confidence yet that I did before, but we're getting there. It's day by day. Do you have nursing every day? And when you don't have nursing, does that make it so you have to stay home, or do you still take the boys out? So yeah, we can take the boys out. It just is a little bit harder when we don't have a nurse. I would say like for a trip or somewhere like not even necessarily the park, I guess like the zoo or something, we would want to go on a day we have a nurse, just because it makes it easier. There's one baby per adult human. But yeah, we do stuff without the nurses. We have a day nurse. Usually Kaylee's here like 5 days a week. She's usually here like 5 shifts a week, and then my night nurse is here 4 nights a week, and we just posted telling that we needed like another part-time night nurse because we're going crazy with Ezra overnights when we don't have a night nurse. He had 23 alarms last night on his vent, and I thought I was going to like jump out of my window. Do you plan to send them to school or homeschool? That is such a good question, honestly, and I don't really have an answer for you. I think it'll just depend. It's really scary, the world that we live in. I know that you guys know what I'm referencing. I'm not going to get too much into that or talk about those things, but it's just scary to send your kids out into the world, but I also don't want them to be like socially awkward by any means, so I would still want them to be like involved in sports and stuff if we did decide to homeschool. I obviously would have to make sure that we were in a good financial position if we did homeschool because I wouldn't be able to work, obviously, so it's kind of just something that we'll, I feel like, tackle once we get to that point. Me and Braxton have talked about it before, you know, what would we prefer to do, and I think that we're both open to either idea, even though we kind of both lean towards one or the other. We're both willing to like negotiate, and I'm not like set on it, and I don't think he is either. So, do you have friends with medically complex children who can relate to you? I have friends that I've met through social media. I have like a couple people I know that their kiddos have gtubes or they were on oxygen short term, but nothing like obviously what we've gone through. But I do have people I've met through social media who have helped me in more ways than I could even imagine. I meet a lot of people through social media that are like trach vent moms or multiples moms with maybe one medical need. I talk to 2 families right now, one of which has triplets and her daughter is on a trach vent, and then another that I talk to pretty regularly that her son has the same vactral condition as Daxon, and she also has triplets, and so it makes it easier to like have someone to relate to. And I also love that I can provide them comfort just because their babies are a lot younger than the boys, and so it's, you know, those kind of things make it worth it to be able to provide and help other people too. How do the boys have so much energy? You tell me. I don't know. They're wild. I do not know. They feed off each other too. Are the boys going to start pre-K anytime soon? I would say probably when they're like 4, but then again, I'm also hoping that, you know, they will be able to not have as many medical needs by then, which I'm assuming they won't, especially like Croy, but we'll just have to see where we're at. I answered a lot of these questions that this girl asked in this big post, but the last couple of questions she asked, what do the boys eat and how long are their feeds? So Croy eats everything now. Like, he eats pasta, SpaghettiOs, PB&J, bananas, peanut butter and jelly, you know, just a normal like toddler set of meal. And then he gets 1 feed at night for 5 hours. And then Daxon and Ezra both eat during their naps for 3 hours, continuous but slow feeds, and then overnight for 12 hours. And they just get like their pediatric blend that comes through our like home care health supply company. Are parents, friends helpful or understanding? Yes, for sure. Like I said, we've had really good support through, I shouldn't say all, but some of our friends and family, and so that has been like a huge weight lifted off our shoulders for sure. What do you like to do for fun? Reading, we know, but anything else? Definitely working out has been great for me. Can you take the hospital to court for damaging your son's vocal cords? Honestly, we probably could. Me and Braxton have talked about that we probably could sue if we really wanted to, but I mean, the damage is already done at this point, and I know it wasn't intentional. And although I really hate the surgeon, I shouldn't say hate, that's a strong word. I strongly dislike the person who did Daxon's repair surgery. He still did it successfully and got him out of the hospital. It just wasn't the most effective way to do it. We also signed waivers, you know, that those things could happen and that there's the potential of that. You always hope that's not the case, but even if we would have went somewhere else that's more specialized, the chance probably would have been lower, but trying to get him there could have taken months and months of him spending more time in the hospital, and ultimately we just had to try and make a decision based on what we felt as parents, and I don't know that we made the right one, and that's been really hard for us to deal with, but you know, we have to deal with it. Do they have delayed development? If so, how and what activities do you do to help with delayed development? Yes, of course they do. Corey's catching up very nicely, and I think Daxon's starting to get there. Ezra is pretty behind, but that's okay. He'll get there. We have PT and OT once a week, and then we just work with them on our own too, obviously reading, and we watch Mr. Rachel. She's great. She really is great for development, but not great for mom and dad. How do you afford all the medical equipment, for your children? I know you have health insurance, but even with insurance, medical costs are so high. Yeah, it is. It can be expensive. We just figure it out. We do it. Honestly, the most expensive stuff that we usually have to buy is diapers and wipes. I mean, they go through an average of like 20 diapers a day. So that becomes pretty expensive if you think of how much diapers are. But what do? We asked for diapers and wipes for their birthday from friends and family if they wanted like very practical gifts, and we got quite a few packs of diapers and wipes, so that was really helpful. How can you tell Dax and Croy apart? are just, none of them look alike to me. I don't even think they favor each other most of the time. Every once in a while I'll be like, ooh, you kind of look like your brother. But Daxon obviously talks funny, so like it's easy to tell him apart once, and he is also like kind of sounds junky. Ezra has a trach, so that's easy. And then Croy, I don't know, he's just Croy. Somebody asked about the genetic testing, and I kind of already answered that, but yes, we plan to do genetic testing on them, or I guess us too, to just kind of see overall like what issues potentially just were random, or if they did come from genetics. Will all of them be considered special ed at school, or is it too early to tell? I don't think so. I mean, as of right now, their brains are fine. The next question after this, which is the last question, was does Ezra have any brain damage? So Ezra and Croy both did have brain bleeds, and they didn't know at the time like what that would look like for them. So far, they're not concerned at all, especially Croy. Like, he's doing great, and he's very developmentally appropriate considering he's not even 2 yet, and he's doing great, honestly, in all aspects of things. And so they're not like concerned with him really at all for any of those issues. Ezra is obviously delayed, but a lot of that is because he spent 19 months in the hospital, and you just don't develop the same as you would when you're home, obviously. Like, he, once he came home, he couldn't even sit unassisted or even roll over consistently, and he came home 5 months ago, and he is probably going to start walking in the next few months, and he's standing without holding stuff now. And so I think overall, they talked about potentially Ezra does have like a little increased muscle tone, so he might have like a mild form of CP, but they're not like overly concerned that it's like spastic or severe, because like I said, he's standing on his own. He doesn't look like he's super stiff or uncomfortable. He just like every once in a while will kind of like stiffen up a little bit. But again, they're like, well, he also spent 19 months in the NICU, and he didn't have full use of his arms and legs when he was there. So I think it's like time will tell. But as of right now, they're not concerned with any like developmental things with them, if that makes sense. It's, again, hard to tell if there could be something that arises, but same with a healthy, full-term baby. You don't know if they have autism or just the broad spectrum of range of things that you could have. So it'll just depend, but as of right now, we're looking okay. So we'll just have to see, but we'll take it day by day and figure it out once we get there, I guess. But that is all the questions that I have. I don't want to keep you guys since it's been long videos already, but we love you. We appreciate the support always, and we will see you soon for more content in the next video.